Over the summer, I was having breakfast. It was eggs. And those are pretty boring on their own, so I decided to shake some salt in them. And it got me thinking, who the hell thought it was a good idea to eat rocks? I present to you the global history of salt. This story starts with the beginning of humanity, the hunter-gatherers. They would have gotten enough salt in their diets from just hunting and eating animals. Those animals, of course, would have gotten salt from salt licks, which are naturally occurring deposits of salt that you can find scattered around the ground. The problem started to arise, as with all of our current problems, with the birth of agriculture. So, with a grain-based diet and harvesting crops, people weren't getting enough salt. So someone had to realize that you needed to get some kind of supplement. And that probably resulted in people also going to salt licks, which I don't really want to think about. So we're going to move on. Someone later discovered that you can boil seawater and you would get salt from it. Now, this was actually a really important discovery because with excess salt, you could now store tons of food that would have generally been perishable for a long amount of time, and you can actually let a village or a society grow. It also opened up an entire world of medicine and chemistry. Moving down the timeline a little bit, the Egyptians realized that salt could be added to fish, and they could be shipped off a greater distance and sold at a higher price. Which brings us to the greatest purpose of salt, making lots of money. Now, of course, when someone realizes that there's a get-rich-quick scheme, something that has been true throughout all history, a bunch of people jump in on it too. So a bunch of trade routes started to pop up, and a lot of these were based around where you could get salt, where you could sell salt. And generally, the global economy and the interconnected trading system we have is in a large part due to the trade of salt. One specific example would be the Via Salaria, which was the Roman salt road. Now, if we move on to France in the early 18th century, there was an incredibly expensive salt tax placed. We're talking a tax that was about 140 times the cost of production for salt. That's pretty crazy, and naturally it made a lot of people very, very upset, and is one of the main reasons for the French Revolution. As I'm sure you all remember from history class, the French Revolution is a pretty big reason why the American Revolution worked out. So if it wasn't for the French royalty taxing salt, there probably wouldn't be a United States. In the 1900s, back in India, British colonists were placing, you guessed it, a salt tax on the locals. And Mahatma Gandhi had a pretty big issue with that. So he decided to protest by leading several salt marches, where he and his followers would peacefully move across the country, and they would go to towns and villages, harvesting salt by evaporating seawater. This salt was not taxed and was therefore very, very illegal. Gandhi and many of his followers were subsequently arrested. This arrest would cause there to be several protests in India, which would eventually lead to the liberation of India, and as you all know, it's now a sovereign nation. Now, in the modern day, we have a lot of technology that allows us to produce insane amounts of salt and also not use a lot of it. We are drowning in salt. We have so much salt we don't know what to do with. You probably eat too much salt as it is. And I think just the fact that we've gone from this material being precious and value and rare to something that we have in abundance is just a really beautiful testament to the ability for mankind to grow and develop. Thank you.